what's up? This is Skater Soldier. I'm going to be doing the Medal of Honor review right now for you. Now, I haven't done a review before, but I'm always going to have the same format, and I'm going to run through the format right now so everybody knows what's going on. Basically, at the end of my conversation for each category, I'm going to put a plus if it's good and a minus if it's not good, and a plus or minus if it's good in some areas and good and bad in other areas for the same topic. Now, the five categories, are gameplay, which covers the customization aspects, such as can you take off auto aim, can you rewrite your controls, how realistic does it feel, if it's supposed to be that way, how it does it fit what it's trying to go for. Sound and audio, that's going to cover the soundtrack, the audio, the weapon sounds, the explosions, all that stuff. Graphics is going to cover the textures, frame rate, lighting, all that. The storyline is going to cover the story, how well it's going, how well it fits into the mold of what it's going for as far as the scalpel and the hammer, tier 1 operations, and stuff like that. And then finally is replayability, and this is going to cover trophy support, what you can do after you complete the campaign and whatnot on the campaign level. Now I'm going to do a separate review for the multiplayer, which obviously adds a lot of replayability to the overall game, but I will be doing two separate reviews, and then at the end of the multiplayer review I'll do a full game review that combines the two scores. Now, my score is going to be out of 100. Each of the five categories is going to be out of 10. And what I do is I add them all up. Like the number above 10, I add that up and I add up the 10. So it should be over 50, then I double it. So it's over 100. And that'll be the score. So yeah, I'll probably this will probably be over the course of 2 videos because the limit's 15 and I'm already at 3 minutes right now, so I'm probably gonna put this over 2 videos because I have a ton of stuff to cover. I'm going to go really in depth, and it may contain some spoilers. I'll probably tell you ahead of time if it's going to for that particular section, that way you can skip over to the next time frame and you don't have to listen. But this is going to be very in-depth, so let's go ahead and jump into it. Okay, so we're starting with the realism category right now. Now, there's been a lot of talk about aim sensitivity, not aim sensitivity, aim assist. Oh, it's just so easy with aim assist. Hello, it right there, I just showed you, you can take it off. You can remove aim assist, which is a critical element to the game. It makes it much harder to get kills. Now, right there you saw, right there you saw that there's four different control loadouts. This is one thing I don't like about the game, is that you cannot customize your controls. I like R2 and L2 to shoot, not R1 and L1, because my fingers slip off, but none of the control schemes had that. Now, on the difficulty, I recommend doing hard, because one really downside of the gameplay is that it has really poor AI, which I'll show later in the realism video. You're going to want to turn your aim sensitivity up really high if you're more of a COD player like me, but if you're more of a Battlefield player, you're definitely going to want to leave it around the middle area, but it's really up to you in the long run, because on Battlefield I turn mine up all the time. One of my major complaints with the gameplay part of it is the AI, is that a lot of the AI is good in a lot of ways, except sometimes it just looks like they have no idea. Like, your teammate AI is superb. They work with you, they kill bad guys and whatnot. That your team AI is very good, but the opponent AI a lot of times can be very, very not difficult, very, very easy to kill. Like, it's just ridiculous how easy it is to kill. Another beef I have with the single player gameplay is the sprint. The sprint is literally like the same speed as walking. I think it might be like a tiny bit faster, but it's pretty ridiculous that the sprint is it's not even a sprint. You might as well just walk or crouch or something. It's pretty stupid. Now we got some pluses for the gameplay. Two things I really like, or three things actually. Three things I really liked was the return of the lean and peak in the Medal of Honor series. You can hold down the L2 button. You can move your joystick, and basically you can peek above rocks or to the side or whatever. And this really helps you utilize your cover a lot better, because a lot of times, unless it's a third-person shooter, and first-person shooters like Call of Duty and stuff, cover is nearly not nearly useless. I mean, it still blocks the bullets, but it's really hard to shoot out from under it realistically, because there's not really a peak mechanism. Now, one thing I really liked about the gameplay also was the realism. The guns have recoil. They operate like real guns. You put the magazine in and chamber the cartridge, instead of a lot of these other games that have no idea how guns work. This actually knows that with a 30 round mag, you still have one in the chamber, so you start with one in the chamber already. And that's another that's one of the gun realisms. The recoil, the optics, just all that stuff really adds to the actual gameplay. Now there are some things that are like unrealistic, like the sprint. That's totally unrealistic. The slide, you can slide uphill sometimes. The slide's way too far, but I mean, it's a gameplay mechanic. I think that was a good thing overall, but I think it needs some work. One of my favorite things in first-person shooters is sniping. My main complaint with this game of sniping is that it's only fun when it's actually the sniper rifle that you can change optics with, that really has those sniper physics, like the bullet drop, the scope zoom, wind, the Coriolis effect, all this different stuff. And the other sniper rifles in quotation marks, aren't really sniper rifles. They don't even feel like sniper rifles. There's like no breathing or anything, and you know what I mean. It's just like those single fire guns they gave you in some of the campaign when you're Deuce. But that's it for the gameplay section. Overall, I really like the auto aim, how you can remove the auto aim. I didn't think well, let me start over. I like the auto aim. I like the realism that it was going for, the lean and peak, and the sniping. Stuff I didn't like were how you couldn't customize the controls, the sprint, the poor AI, and that's pretty much it. So on the gameplay section, I'm giving 8 out of 10. Alright, now that we've done realism, we're moving on to the sound. The sound. This is, in my opinion, the best sound ever in a first-person shooter. In a military shooter with the explosions, real-life gun sounds, mics, you know, all that different stuff. This is the best sound I've ever heard. I didn't ever really hear a flaw. Sometimes it wouldn't match up with the explosion quite right, but that was mostly on multiplayer, not on single player, and we're doing the single player right now. So I never heard one flaw. All the explosions, everything was just perfect. Now this is going to be a short section because I'm just going to probably pause and just let you listen to some clips on higher volume so you can really hear the gun sounds and the explosions and stuff. But before I do that, the one flaw I saw in the sound wasn't really the sound effects, it was the soundtrack. The soundtrack is something that really immerses the player into the game and gives them a feeling like if it's a sad moment, it needs to be sad. If it's like a fast-paced moment, it needs to be kind of fast-paced. But a lot of times it would give the music for that case, but it just would not fit exactly like the fast-paced music was like this rock music and stuff. You know, I mean, I love rock music, but I don't have anything against it. But it just gave me like this Call of Duty wannabe feel, where they like thrash and rock music and stuff to make it feel like, oh man, this is so awesome. And that was my only problem. So I want to show some sounds and then recap before this is probably going to be the end of the part 1, and then on part 2 I'm going to cover graphics, storyline, and replayability. So here's some sound effects.
Rabbit, I am on foot, moving uphill.
Okay, so quick recap. The audio really shined in this game. Nearly flawless sound effects, immersive gun sounds, epic explosion audio, one of the best shooter sound effects shooter games with great sound effects games I've ever heard. But the soundtrack was a little bit subpar. It shined in some areas, and it was a little bit lackluster in others. And the verdict on this game, my bad, not on this game, but on the sound for this game, is a 9 out of 10.